Topics for this class are jump statements, nested if statement, nested if files, else if ladder, and some example programs. Okay, first we'll start up a class with jump statements. These are also called as branching statements in C language. These statements transfer control to another part of the program. So we place these jump statements in some code, in a particular block of code. When the control encounters the jump statement, the control transfer to some other part of the program. We use them when we want to break any condition or to continue a block of code by skipping some statements. So when we start doing the example programs, you will understand how to use them and how to perform them. There are three types of jump statements called goto, break, and continue. All three of these are keywords you have to use as they are. Now let's go and write some program to transfer first goto. So in this class we'll be learning only the goto statement. In the coming classes we'll be learning the break and continue statements, right? So now let's go and try the goto statement. In this program I'll be demonstrating the goto statement. So we can use the goto statement along with the if-else structure. So it is highly not recommended to use in C language. I'll explain you the working procedure of goto statement. It's up to you to use it or not in the program. Alright, let's write this program for checking a number for its positiveness. If the number is positive, the user will get a message, the number is positive. If it is negative, he will get some other message. So for doing that, I'll use if-else along with goto statements, right? Int num. Okay, I've got printf and scanf statements to accept the number. So here first I'll say I'll check for the number here. So if the content of num is less than 0, so I will pass the control to some other part of the program. Go to a, right? So a is an identifier here. It is like a marker in the program. It marks a particular statement. I'll show you how it can be used. Okay, so it is a part of goto statement. Else go to b, right? So if num is less than 0, go to a. When control comes here, it checks for the number whether it is less than 0 or not. If it is less than 0, so control comes to this line. It executes this line. So what it is encountering here, go to a. So control passes to the block which is labeled as a. So a is a label here, right? So I will define the block of code with the label a here. So remember, so this is how we label a block, a with a colon, right? Here open and close the curly brackets if you want, if you have multiple statements. Otherwise you can have the statement without any curly brackets. So right, this is the block a. I can call this block with the label. So I labeled this block with a. And now I'll create another block, one more block with the label b. So when the control comes to this statement, if number is less than 0, go to a. So it jumps to this part. Control jumps to the block which is labeled as a. Else go to b. If number is not less than 0, the control will execute the else part, right? In the else part, we have put the goto statement, which means the control jumps to b block. If num less than 0, I will say printf negative number, right? If number is greater than 0, printf positive number, right? So in the same way you can also have one more goto if the number is equal to 0. I'm just giving you the basic understanding how goto works, right? Control F9. So we have got two errors. Let us find out. Unreachable code. that means, so it is else. I misspelled the word s, right? Else, and I should not have the semicolon at the end of if statement. Remember this. Control F9, enter a number to check. 4 positive number, so that means 4 is stored here. 4 is less than 0, no, so it comes to else part. Go to B positive number. So that is what happened, right? Let's run this again. Control F9. Oh god, we have got negative number as well as positive number, right? So what's happened here? So when I entered -4, so control checks this statement. -4 is less than 0, yes. So go to A, so control comes here, so it prints negative number as well as positive number, because it continues the checking this code as well, this block as well, because after this statement this block continues. So here I should have one more go to telling go to end, right? So I should skip these all these statements, right? I will have the end here. So this is the end block. So what after end is get ch. So get ch is the last statement, right? So whenever the control comes to this statement, it will print the negative number as well as it will check the go to statement, and it comes to the end part. So let's try this again. Control F9. -4 negative number, yes, that's we have got. So see how difficult it is using goto, right? It makes the programmer confused. So I just given you the example how goto works. So now we will understand what is nested if statement. What do you mean by nesting? Nesting is just putting a code inside another code, right? So here in the nested if statement, we'll put one if statement, one block of if inside another block. So we'll see how to do that. First we'll put the if condition, then we open the curly bracket, and we'll put another if condition inside the main if condition. So just observe this structure. First the control comes to this statement here, it checks for the condition and it enters into this if only if this condition is true. Otherwise it will skip this entire block of code. Say suppose the condition is evaluated to true and the control comes inside the loop, comes inside this code block, and it again check for another condition where we have put here. So it checks for then another condition which is here, this second if, the inner if, right? If this condition is evaluated true, this block, this inner block will be executed. Otherwise these statements anyhow be executed only when this condition is true. So the execution of these statements is dependent on the truthness of both these conditions, right? Now look at the nested if else. It is same as nested if. Here we are nesting if and else both inside the if else. So first we check for the if condition, then again we get into the if condition and again check for another if that is evaluated to true. Will execute one or more statements, otherwise a default set of statements. So this is a complete if else structure placed inside one if structure. So this if or else will be executed only when this if condition is true. Otherwise this will be definitely executed. So this is one if else containing another if else in it. You can have another if else inside the else block also, or if statement alone. So like this you can have any number of nesting. Okay, so inside this inner if you can have any number of if else statements to have multiple levels of nested if else. So friends, in this program I am going to find out the biggest number among three numbers by using the nested if statement. So let's go and do that. So for that I'll be using three variables, namely n1, n2 and n3. Okay. So using this scanf statement I'm going to accept three integer numbers. So let's see how we can use nested if statements, how we can nest the if statements to check biggest of 3. So first I have to compare the variable n1 with the other two variables, right? For n1 to be biggest, it has to be more than other two variables. So here I'll tell if n1 is more than n2, then go inside checking for n1 more than n3. So this is the first condition that we will check. If n1 is more than n2, we will compare it with n3. If that is also true, I will print n1, that is %d is biggest, right? That is n1. So this is how we nested the if statement. So by this you can, so using this you can nest the if statement. Else, if that is not happened, else here I'll use again if. So you can combine if statement. So you can nest if statement inside else, else inside if. So you can have any. So you can have any levels of nesting and any if statement inside any other if statement. Okay. So if n2 is more than n1, right? I can have one more nesting here. So if n2 is also more than n3, I will say n2 is the biggest, right? Or %d is biggest. So that means n2. So if none of this is true, of course n3 is the biggest. So just watch here, I am making the indentation to understand it properly. So I'm just pressing the tab key from the keyboard. So I'm making it look better. So this is one level, this is one if. So this will be checked now. If n2 is more than n3, this will be printed. Otherwise, number 3 will be printed, right? So Control F9. So let's go and have 5, 6, and 7. Yes, 7 is the biggest now. So let's make the second number biggest now. 5, 6, and 3. Yes, 6 is the biggest. Control F9. 3, 2, 1. 3 is the biggest. So that's how it's working. So have you got the understanding of this structure? We have just included the if statement inside another if. So it is just a logic, okay? So how n1 can be biggest? If it is more than n2 and n3 only, it can be biggest, right? So that is what we are checking here. If n1 is more than n2, let's go and check. We are telling the compiler, go and check, go and compare the n1 with n3 also. And if it is true, then print n1 is biggest. Otherwise, come to this part, come to else part. This else is in pair with this if, right? So these if and else are in pair. Right? If this is not executed, else will be definitely executed. If n1 is not more than n2, then either n2 or n3 will be the biggest. Right? So if not n1, we are checking for n2 and n3. If n2 is more than n1 and n3, it is biggest. Else, obviously n3 will be the biggest. So that is what happened here. Right? I hope you understood this program. When you go and do such programs more and more, you will be master in nesting the if statement. So this is a very important and very useful concept in C language, and you will find it very useful in your future programs if you master on this structuring. The last type of control statement, which is else if ladder. So ladder means the same here. It is containing the multiple steps of else if conditions. So first we'll test for the if condition A followed by a condition number 1. If the condition is true, we'll execute a set of statements or a statement. If not, we'll go for checking another condition with having the keyword else if. So put the space between else and if. So they come in pair, but you must have the space between else and if followed by the condition. So first we'll check for this condition. If this condition is false, we'll go for another condition, that is condition number 2, which is in else if block. If that also got false, we'll go for the condition number 3, so which is also put in else if block. So like this we can continue any number of else ifs having the multiple conditions only executed when the previous condition is false. So else if test condition number 4, like up to n, at last we are going to have the else block, which is definitely be executed when all the above conditions, if and else if conditions, are false. Right? Else is like a default block. It is definitely be executed when all the above conditions are evaluated to false. Like say suppose I have the right condition in test condition number 3, then compiler will execute all the statements inside this block, this condition number 3 block, and all the other statements below this block are skipped. Right? So this is how else if ladder works. Well friends, in this program I am going to accept a student marks, percentage of marks, and assign a class for that. If the inputted marks is more than 90%, I'll say first class. If it is more than 80 and below 90, it would be the second class. If it is more than 70, third, more than 50, it's just pass. So depending on the incoming number, the inputted number, I'll be assigning various classes to them. So here I'm going to check for many conditions, so it is suitable here to use the else if ladder structure. Right? So I'm going to start with by declaring a number. Now I got the statement for accepting the percentage. So first let me check it for the first class. Right? If the percentage of marks is more than or equal to 90, I will say you have secured first class. Right? You have secured first class if your marks is more than 90%. Else if, so this is how we are going to check the second condition. Else, put a space and type the word if followed by the condition inside the parenthesis. Then, so no need to have parenthesis here because we have got a single statement to print. So you have secured second class. Again, one more else if to check one more condition. Else if number is more than or equal to 50, printf, you have secured third class. Right? So by doing this, we can have any number of else ifs, right? So else will be the last condition. Else will be the last set of statements or block where it is executed for sure when none of the above conditions is true. Right? Here I'll be printing just pass. Right? So let's go and run this program. please enter the percentage, let us say 50. So you have secured third class, that's all right. Now say 20, just pass. Say 99, okay, 99, you have secured first class. So how it's working, friends? So I got the number in the variable num. If the content of num is more than or equal to 90, you have secured first class. If it is more than or equal to 75, it's second class. If it is more than or equal to 50, it's third, or it is just pass. Say suppose I have inputted 99%. 99 is more than 90, 99 is more than 75 also. And which will I get it? So what message will I get? First class or second class? First class, right? Because which will be tested first? This one, right? 99 is more than 90. Okay. So this will be printed. You have secured first class, and if the match is found here, if the condition is true here, so none of the statements below will be executed. All the else ifs and else got ignored by the compiler. It directly go after the else block. It will directly jump to the code which is after the else part, right? So if this got false, this got false, and this got false, the compiler will definitely be executed the else part. So this is how we can achieve the results using else if ladder.
Well,